What's up, Rooftop Nation? Welcome to the importance of journaling part 2. In the last module, we talked about the different types of journals. I gave you a backstory on how I got started with the journaling process and how in even the most extreme places on earth in combat, it really helped me make connections to my day, assess my day, make sense of my day, and then posture myself to go into the next day with more clarity and more effectiveness. And I showed you the different types of journals that are out there, at least some of them. And look, here's the thing. If you took anything away from that module, it would be these two things. One is that it's a lot less about the type of journal that you use and more that you just do it. You know, even a notebook will be fine. And that you do it consistently. It takes roughly 45 days to establish new neural pathways in the brain and to build new habits. And you gotta start somewhere. And so journaling is such an important thing. Now, in this module, I wanna talk about some techniques for journaling that can help you do that. But before we do, I wanna share with you some comments from Daniel Coyle, one of my favorite sidekicks on the human connection journey and high performance journey. Dan wrote this book, The Little Book of Talent, 52 tips for improving your skills. He studied hotbeds of talent all over the world, and he brought forward 52 synthesized tips that high performers use to play at the highest level. And I want you to listen to tip number 4, buy a notebook. A high percentage of top performers keeps some form of daily performance journal. Tennis champion Serena Williams and former MVP World Series MVP Curt Schilling use notebooks. The rapper Eminem and the choreographer Twyla Tharp use shoeboxes, which they fill with ideas written on scrap paper. What matters is not the precise form, just like I said earlier. What matters is that you write stuff down and reflect on it. Results from today, ideas for tomorrow, goals for next week. A notebook works like a map. It provides clarity. And that's what I really want you to take away. So what are some principles for journaling that you can take into this thing as you do it? First of all, be consistent. Commit to 45 days of journaling. And in your journal, you know, even if it's a notebook, have a place in there where you write the date, the time, and the location, every entry, and track it for 45 days. If you miss a day, guess what? The 45-day clock starts over. So that's the first thing, is be really, really consistent about it. It needs to be part of what I call your R4, your regimen, your ritual, your rigor, and your recovery. It needs to be part of your rhythm, your battle rhythm, the things you do every single day to maintain mind, body, and spirit. You need rituals that address that, and journaling should be one of those rituals. It should involve sacred space where you can go someplace quiet, you're not going to be interrupted, and it should involve sacred time. It's done at the same time every morning and the same time every evening, right? When I talk about sacred space, it's a place you can go, you won't be disturbed. When I talk about sacred time, it's going to happen at the same time every single day in the morning, the same time every single day in the evening. Please hear me on this, because if you want to be successful at journaling, that's absolutely essential, okay? Another thing is that it requires rigor. You know, one of the first things that happens when we're under the gun, when we're under duress, I was just talking to some business executives today who I coach, and we were doing situational coaching, and they were talking about how much stress they were under and how much uncertainty they were under and how this person's doing that and this person's doing that. And I asked them, I said, when's the last time you did your battle rhythm? When's the last time you did your workouts that you tell me you love to do that metabolizes the stress? Oh, it's been months. Well, leadership's the management of energy, yours and those around you. How are you going to manage your own energy and then lead others if you don't metabolize that energy and perform the rituals that allow you to play at the highest level? You see, that's leadership, leading yourself when things are crazy. That's why a battle rhythm is so important. In Afghanistan, a joint task force executes a battle rhythm of events every single day, no matter how many gunfights are happening or how many choppers go down, they're still in that rhythm. Why? Because they cannot allow themselves to be dictated by chaos. They have to stay in front of the fight. Well, the same is true in your life. having a rhythm, a regimen that you do every single day to address mind, body, spirit resilience, that includes journaling in the morning and in the evening, that has sacred space and sacred time where you do it. I think that every time you journal, it should include gratitude. I believe as a recovering alcoholic, it feels weird, Wes, to talk about being a recovering alcoholic like on a friggin' video camera now. Like for years, it was all this anonymity, and now I'm like, there it is. But seriously, you know, gratitude is such an important part of life, and it really resets us. It puts us in the right frame of mind. So making sure that in your journal, I would include gratitude in the AM and I would include gratitude in the PM. Just write 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, and then write what you're grateful for on number 1. Put the pen down, reflect on it, visualize that gratitude, then go to number 2. A lot of times what I see people do is they write 3 things they're grateful for and they move on. There's no integration or crystallization of the gratitude into your body and into your soul, right? You need to take a moment of reflection on each one and actually absorb that gratitude. Does that make sense? Do that in the evening, do that in the mornings. It makes such a huge difference in your perspective for the day. Another thing that I like to see are lessons learned. I see that typically in the morning, one other thing, let me go back to the AM. Write down one thing that would make today great. One thing that would make today strategic if I did this one thing. That's a great thing to do in the morning or even the night prior. In the evening, I'm all about lessons learned. 3 lessons learned. What are 3 things you learned about yourself, about your business, about your family, about being a father, being a husband, wife, whatever? Write those lessons down. That's where knowledge gets crystallized. I think that's really what Coyle was talking about. And it is, I'm telling you, otherwise you're running in the rat race and you don't even capture the nuggets that happen during your day that could be leveraged for greater outcomes down the line. And then finally, you need to do it for 45 days. I know I keep saying this, but the brain is a metaphorical pattern matching organ. It operates off pattern matching. If you don't give the brain new patterns to match, it won't build the habit. So putting the journaling in place with rigor and discipline, sacred time, sacred space, having a process for it, even if you just write a few entries, if you just do gratitude, if you just do one thing that'll make the day strategic in the morning, and then 3 lessons learned, that's all you got to do. Do that for 45 days. Do it for 45 months. But I promise you, the outcome will be crystallized knowledge, higher performance, and postured learning for the next day. I hope this helped. It's a great tool. It's a great ritual. It's what the high performers do. It's what the rooftop leaders do. Thanks, and I'll see you on the rooftop.